So, you're interested in changing to Mason's model, or starting a new school or hybrid cooperative for the first time, and you're wondering about that process. What kinds of things are helpful to consider as you begin to think about websites, enrollments, teachers, spreading the word in your community? In addition to the normal legal processes for your state, provincial, or national jurisdiction documented elsewhere, here are a few suggestions and ideas, particularly important when opening a school with this relational approach. First, articulate your vision. A relational education is a cohesive and coherent educational philosophy and approach to education. And not all schools have this. They may have good ideas, good practices, good facilities, but they don't necessarily flow from and within a coherent vision for education. And yet, parents, teachers, and community will resonate if you capture and cast your vision articulately and clearly. So let Charlotte Mason's inherent cohesiveness work for you. Articulate your school's vision of a relational education well, and then spread it broadly on your website, in interest meetings, and in any space you can. Secondly, educate your educators. Provide initial and ongoing teacher training, support, and accountability. This is particularly important for a school seeking to use relational methods because your teachers may well not have experienced this approach themselves or had training in this approach. And while a relational education is freeing for teachers, and since it recognizes the personhood of teachers as well as students, it is often a paradigm shift at the beginning. Give the ongoing training support that your educators and your school leaders need. Third, prioritize ongoing parent education. While some parents may be well acquainted with Mason's ideas, many will not. And as you introduce your parents to the guiding ideas of a relational education, you'll be able to build a cohesive relational culture, which does not only stay in school, but overflows into the lives of the families involved in your community at large. You might, for example, plan a monthly discussion group with parents and provide a resource to watch or read beforehand. Or perhaps you invite them to join in a nature study walk or sit in on specific classes at times. Maybe you'll provide parents with the entire curriculum that you plan to use and the full reading lists. Seek to involve and provide ongoing dialogue and partnership with parents about the content and approach to education. This, too, is inherent in offering an education informed by Charlotte Mason. Fourth, value your school and classroom culture. Establish clear guidelines for classroom management and overall school governance that reflect the personhood of students, parents, and teachers. Some Charlotte Mason educators, for example, find responsive classroom training very helpful. And finally, cultivate a relational atmosphere. Because we are embodied souls and whole persons, not just thinking brains or information processors, think about how to create a physical, or perhaps an online, space that is inviting, hospitable, and beautiful. Even small things such as hanging a piece of art on the wall, setting up a class library, or planning to conduct some classes in a circle, some out of doors, some in nooks and hallways, rather than in traditional rows with a teacher up front. This will help shape the ethos, the atmosphere of your school. Are you excited? Are you overwhelmed? Are you energized? You might be feeling all of these things as you consider the work needed to begin to offer the relational education that you envision for your community. However, as you articulate your vision and purpose, develop resources, recruit teachers, cultivate a dedicated community, and establish a healthy governance structure, I remind you to lean into the reality that education is a life. A relational education is an adapting education, sensitive to the needs of particular students, parents, teachers, and communities. Make plans, but recognize you will tweak them in a year or 2 or 5 as you grow and learn alongside your teachers, your parents, your students, and your staff. And finally, we invite you to let us come alongside you in your endeavor. Our vision at the Charlotte Mason Institute is that every teacher and every student would have access to a relational education. And we help educators practice relational education through curriculum, through conferences, through publications, training, and social media. We want our resources to give you freedom and flexibility as you look ahead. You are not on this journey alone.